Hello and welcome to the Happy and Healthy Growth and Development Podcast. I'm Janina and I'm grateful to be your host for one of our special editions during these challenging times. We want to create this space so that you can feel heard and supported, and so that we can transition into our mindset of a more positive attitude and opportunistic time that we all have laid in front of us. In the last video, we talked about the importance of unity and how can we all overcome this challenge together as an unity. In this video, I am going to use storytelling in a parable. When was the last time when you heard a parable? So that we can stimulate our change. For those of you who didn't have time to check the latest video, please remember to scroll down, subscribe at the bottom below, and do remember to take the action steps so that you can embody that transition. Because today's action step is going to consist in something even more interesting, because I will invite you to share what you are doing with me in this video with your friends. And I'm sure it's going to be something really, really interesting. Okay, enough talking. Are you ready for me to read for you the parable? Okay, it's bedtime. So, this parable, it's called This Too Shall Pass. And it focuses on understanding that things are temporary. And I'll talk to you more on that a bit later. There was a king, and he once said to his court sage, "I have a ring with one of the finest diamonds in the world, and I want to hide a message under the stone which can be useful in times of despair. I will give this ring to my heirs, and I wanted to serve them faithfully. Come up with a message to be inscribed under the diamond. It must be short to fit onto the ring." The sage didn't know how to write anything in short sentences. They tried hard, but they couldn't come up with anything. The king complained about the failure of this venture to a faithful old servant who raised him from infancy and who was part of the family. So this old man said to him, "I'm not a sage, I'm not educated, but I know of such a message. During my many years spent in the palace, I met a lot of people. Once I served a visiting mystic whom your father invited and passed me this message. Just don't read it. Put it under the stone inside the ring and read it only when there is no way out at all." The king listened to the old servant. After some time, the enemies attacked the country and the king lost the war. He fled onto his horse and enemies pursued him. He was alone. They were too many. He drove to the end of the road. There was a big cliff before him. If he fell there, that would be the end. He could not go back as the enemies were approaching. He already heard the clatter of the horses' hooves. He had no way out. He was in complete despair. But then he remembered the ring. He opened it and under the stone found an inscription of 3 words. These too shall pass. After reading the message, he felt that everything went quiet. Apparently, the pursuers got lost and proceeded in the wrong directions. Horses were no longer heard. The king was filled with gratitude to the servant and the unknown mystic. Words were powerful. He closed the ring and hit the rope. Again, he gathered his army and conquered back his state. On the day he returned to the palace, they arranged a lavish welcoming party for him, a feast for the whole country. People loved their king, and the king was happy and proud. The old servant came up to him and softly said, "This moment will pass. Look at the message again." "Now I'm the winner. People are celebrating my return. I'm not in despair." "Listen to the old servant," he said. It works not only in bad times, but also in good ones." The king opened the ring and read, "These too shall pass." Again he felt silence. Silence falling over him. Although he was in the midst of a noisy dancing crowd, he felt that silence. Feelings of pride and entitlement disappeared. He understood the message. He was a wise man. And then the old servant said, "Do you remember everything that happened to you? Nothing is permanent. No feeling stays. As night changes to day, moments of joy to moments of despair, they replace one another. Accept them as the nature of things, as part of life." Isn't this beautiful? The action step today will consist in you sharing this parable with a friend of yours and you digging through the meaning of this parable. I remember when I was younger and my mom was reading me some parables and I wasn't able to understand the morals of the stories. And now I'm looking back, or I'm looking now as an adult and saying, "Ooh, I can definitely understand the point of that." So enjoy, taking those lectures, those parables that you used to read when you were a child, and notice now what are their morals. From this parable, I can clearly understand, and that's what pops up for me, that these too shall pass. This COVID-19 shall pass too, and it's just temporary. It might seem overwhelming at times, but it will pass. And we are here together for one another as an unity, as we've mentioned in one of the previous video, so that we can overcome this challenge. We can do it, and we must. We're gonna look back and we're gonna say, I'm so proud of myself. I was able to do it. Okay, go ahead and do your action step, and I'll see you in the next video. Stay strong and remember to smile.